Joining us now, Colonel Scott Lingamfelter. He is a former House of Delegates member, and we appreciate him being on. He's also running for Trump delegate from, I think, the 10th district or something. But he's with us now. Scott, great to have you with us, Colonel.
Hey, John, great. It's the 1st district that I'm in.
First district. I always forget. Okay, 1st district.
Virginia's 1st. That's right.
I've already won my race for delegate. Now, when is the 1st district convention? How are they handling that?
That's the 12th of June, and it's still on for now, and we're waiting to confirm that. But hopefully everything will proceed normally as we get closer to the warmer months. I think, frankly, John, that we're going to be in much better shape in June. I think the president has done a fantastic job in dealing with this crisis, and he's revealed his strategic leadership abilities in doing so. You know, one of the things that great leaders do is they listen to smart people, and he has put together a fabulous team that is working and helping the country get through this. And you know it's got to be good, John, because the liberal left hates the updates that the president gives the people of this nation every day. And if they hate it, it must be fantastic.
Well, that's watching those press conferences. It's a tale of two cities. The first part, where he's got his experts up there and they give their statement, is fantastic. And then we get to the clown show with the imbecile reporters that are still there, allowed in by the totally corrupt White House Correspondents Association, asking the same stupid question over and over and over. I want to get to the resignation of the Secretary of the Navy after firing the captain. You're a colonel. You've spent a career in the military. What was your take on this whole episode?
Well, the Secretary failed Leadership 101. The first thing you never do in a situation that requires some pretty significant inspection and thought is to react in haste and to react, in a childish manner, quite frankly. I mean, the guy relieved the captain, and he flew out to the ship and then delivered this sort of incendiary speech. And I think that just was unbecoming. What he should have done is brought a group of rational people around the problem and said, hey, look, let's evaluate what this fellow did. Let's go ahead and temporarily set him aside for a second, but at least take a look at what he did to determine whether or not he made a significant mistake. I think he did. I don't think you go public with this sort of thing when you're a naval officer or an Army officer and you're entrusted with great power and great responsibility. You use your chain of command. You have to use your chain of command. That's one of the things that is instilled into every good military member is use your chain of command. It works. And in this case, it appears, John, that was not the process. So it deserved some serious evaluation of the skipper of the aircraft carrier. But the truth of the matter is, I think the secretary acted imprudently. And frankly speaking, I'm glad he resigned. He should resign.
Really? So you think that even though the captain didn't follow the right channels of command, and look, I mean, he copied 28 copies of this letter. He leaked it out to the Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, which you're not supposed to do. You still think that the Navy secretary acted in haste?
I think that he acted in haste. The truth of the matter, John, is the result could eventually be the same. It could be that once you bring cool heads around the problem, that they would recommend that the skipper be relieved. Mm-hmm. That could be the same result. I guess what I'm really trying to say to you is that it's important for secretaries to really take some time to bring the facts around the table and not act in haste. And it sounds to me, John, unless I've got it wrong, that the president acknowledges the fact that the skipper was wrong in the way he handled the problem.
Right.
At the same time, the president appears to be wanting to take that very careful look, which
right.
I think is a credit to him.
Right. I think what the president said in the press conference, I think it was Monday, he said he was going to take a look at it. And, one thing he said that impressed me, but he's been consistent with people in his own company, people on the campaign, without getting into specifics in that he's like, look, one mistake, I'm not going to destroy somebody's life, right? He just made a mistake. He shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have written the letter. First of all, he said it was 5 pages, single space. Like, who the hell even has time for that?
Well, and the skipper didn't even use his own chain of command, which is a major mistake in my view.
Yeah. But I think what the president said is there might have been a different way to do this. So, but look, it's all shook out, and we're in a very trying time. A lot of people on edge, obviously for a lot of reasons. Let's get back to the president yesterday in an interview, I think, with Sean Hannity on Fox. Colonel Lingamfelter with us, Colonel Scott Lingamfelter, saying that he wants to open the economy back up. And he said there's 2 models. One is we just pick a date and open it up, and that's it. And the second is we open it up in regions that aren't as affected. I've been saying for some time now, we can't get beyond May 1st because you're not going to have an economy to get back to or a country that's going to look recognizable when you've got about 30 million people unemployed, which is where we're headed. And I think we have to take a reasonable approach, open the economy up, get the producers back working, live with this virus, do common sense, manage it down. But look, they told us they shut the economy down so we didn't overrun the beds in the U.S. hospital system. Well, that's not happening. So, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad, that's a great thing that it isn't happening. So what is Scott Lingamfelter's take on when we get people back to work?
Well, first of all, I think, again, President Trump is demonstrating that his instincts are just excellent. He understands that you have the intersection between a serious pandemic issue and you have the significance and vitality of your economy, which you're going to need in order to continue to work solutions to these sorts of things. And the longer the economy is, quote, offline, and it's not completely offline, but it's offline in a very, very significant fashion, John, and you've very accurately detailed that. The president understands, though, that we need to get the economy back in motion and get back to normalcy. And that, I think, is a very, very prescient view. I think it's the right view. Again, what you're seeing, John, and I may be writing about this soon. I've been doing some writing on strategic leadership lately, and I may be doing some writing on this. But the president is demonstrating he's giving us a class on what strategic leadership looks like. His distractors will never acknowledge it. They will always trash it, no matter what. But for those who look dispassionately at what he is doing, he is leading. He is listening to good advice. He's following his instincts. He's keeping his promises. This president is doing his job, and the left hates it. So I think he is instinctively correct to focus intently on when we can get this economy back online. He's absolutely right about that.
Look, I don't think we can go beyond May 1st. And I've said this over and over, and I know I've been skewered on the various social media because there is a contingent of people on the left, and especially in the mainstream media, that wants to see economic calamity, economic collapse, 30% unemployment, food lines, and then they can recreate a socialist/communist environment, Green New Deal, whatever it is that they want, get rid of Trump. They can create it in their own image. I really believe that. And I'm not a conspiracy thinker. I just look at the facts. I mean, the fact that they cheer on every time we have a bad day, and it's like front and center, nobody is calculating the death and the calamity and the economic misfortune and the lives shattered and the suicides and the stress and everything that goes with not having a job and 30% unemployment and millions of businesses shuttering and closing. Nobody's calculating that. So all we see is one side of here's the virus. We're not seeing the other side of this is the result of the economic shutdown we have, right?
Well,
so we're only getting one view.
I think you're correct that we are rapidly approaching that date when we really have to flip the switch and put the economy back in motion again. One thing, John, you made a really important point, and I hope your listeners connect with it. The media is searching for anything anything they can to try to blame President Trump and saddle him with somehow he's trying to infect America. I mean, just look at what CBS did. They put up this report on this nurse who claimed that she resigned because of all the stress of dealing with the COVID-19. Turns out that story was a complete falsehood. Mm-hmm. And Bernie Sanders actually went out and propagated the thing to 9 million people, but it was a falsehood. Mm-hmm. And CBS owes an apology not only to the president, but to the nation. The mainstream media is looking for anything that they can twist and turn to blame on this president. The truth of the matter is he's doing his job. Now, to your point about 1 May, I don't know if it's 1 May. I do know this. It's soon. And we do need to get this economy moving again because people just can't, spend their lives waiting for no one to be infected. I mean, regardless of whatever we do, there are going to continue to be infections throughout the summer, John. That's just a fact of life. The truth is you have to get the economy back online in order to have the economic power and the ability to deal with problems of this nature. Look, newsflash, COVID-19 is not the only threat we face in the world today. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm writing an article on this right now, that when you're totally focused on something of this nature, you better keep your head up because there are other threats that could emerge that are very dangerous. So you don't have the luxury of having one, quote, crisis monopolize your attention. We need to get our economy back online. We need to return to some sense of normalcy. The American people have been very cooperative in helping this president as we move through this crisis. But the truth of the matter is the mainstream media is cheering, sadly, cynically, for failure. And I find it disgusting.
That's gross. And it's sociopathic, and they hate Trump so much. Look, the whole mainstream media, the whole fake news is a corporately controlled, totally corrupt organization. And, now you can say it. After seeing the way they've handled this, and the fact that so many people in the media are attacking the potential drug, the malaria drug that has helped so many people, and it's on record as helping them. And that's a decision that should be between the doctor and the patient. They should make that decision themselves. It's already federally approved.
They're treating it like it's the new Ukrainian hoax crisis. I mean, they're just looking for something to strap this president with and hang around his neck. And I applaud him for how he just sort of brushes it off as so much nonsense and takes the media to task for it.
We're with Colonel Scott Lingamfelter. The colonel is a former House of Delegates member in Virginia, Republican. He's also running for national delegate for Trump. That'll be decided at his convention on June 12th. He represents the 1st District. Colonel Lingamfelter, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your insight. Always appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you either at your convention when things open up or at the convention in Charlotte when you win your race. By the way, how does your race look?
It looks great. And right now, actually, I'm very focused also on our new book, Desert Red Leg, which is a book I wrote about the first Gulf War. And I hope people will go out to Amazon and type in Desert Red Leg and order the book and then tell me what you think about it.
All right, Colonel Lingamfelter, thank you for being with us.